coming up real soon. Next on the list,
graciously hold me.
You best go on that right now.
I can feel it in my knees.
Your host,
I
the
can't
one
feel it,
and
I'm
only
trembling.
KC.
And so I'm begging you to please let me breathe, let me breathe. Baby, so I'm telling you right now, let me go, let me go. Cause I don't think that I can stomach
All right,
this
one more time and it's gonna be you.
you're giving me.
The place you come
Baby,
to
don't let me fall.
information,
Baby, don't let me
conspiracy
fall.
theories.
I know this may sound crazy, but somehow you
Issues
got a
of the
hold
day,
on me. And I'm
nationally,
feeling
locally,
it.
personally.
Oh, I'm trying to fight it, but I'm feeling it. Oh, I'm trying to fight it.
Give a voice to the people who ain't got one.
All right. The mic is on full.
What's going on, viewers? Webisode of the KC Show.
You're not gonna be live. Good.
Yo, what's going on, ladies and gentlemen out there?
You're live.
Thank you for tuning in. Thank you for again tuning in to the one and only the KC Show. I'm your host, KC. Just want to say good evening out there to everybody. I hope all y'all people out there had a good Monday. Today is July 16th, 2012. So I hope everybody's day was good. I had a good day today. It was hot. It was very hot, but it was good. The sun was out. The birds were chirping. The sky was blue. It was a great day. You know what I'm saying? Thank you to the Most High for waking me up and all that, and everybody else out there in internet land. Yeah, we're just gonna jump right into it. For everybody that tuned into the show last week, I had to end the show talking about drones and how, you know, the military wants to, you know, make drones domestic. So they use drones. If you don't know, just a quick recap. If you don't know, the military, government, however you want to look at it, mainly military, uses drones on their missions. When over in Afghanistan, Pakistan, they use them for covert missions, see what the enemy is doing, get vital intel, the whole nine. And they want to use these drones that they use in these missions for the military overseas here in America. That's what they want to do. And that's what we was talking about in the last show. And I didn't really get to finish what I was saying, so we're gonna pick up from there, get right back into it. So what I was saying last week was that there's going to be 6 test sites for these drones in America here in the States next year, 2013. There's 5 of them. And those 5 test sites for these drones are Fort Hood, Texas, Fort Riley, Kansas, Fort Stewart, Georgia, Fort Campbell, Kentucky, and Fort Bragg, North Carolina. Now, if you guys know, Florida was home to NASA. That's where they shot off the rockets, put satellites into space, put man on the moon, all of that. And if you guys don't recall, about a year ago or so, Obama canceled, space flights and basically shut down NASA down there. And because of that, a lot of their scientists and brilliant engineers and what have you start to leave that area, go on to different better things, which is natural in any situation like that. But basically they just started leaving, which means less money for the overall state. Your people that are smart that came up with these ideas for different satellites and, you know, putting people on the moon, all these great ideas and great thinkers left. So now the people who you rely on are now gone. So you gotta, you know, how are we gonna retain these people? We need them, you know. So what Florida wants to do, and I find this, you know, kind of troubling in my own way, but other people might see differently. Once the propaganda wheel starts to spin, you know, mass media will give you all these million reasons why having domestic drones flying over your house and surveilling you, they're going to give you all the good reasons why. So, you know, that's for you to decide. I personally don't agree with it. I think it's wrong. I think it's Big Brother trying to extend his reach in quote-unquote keeping America safe, and which they say that's what they want to do. You know, I hope that they stay true to their word and what have you. But to have drones flying over your house, you know, taking pictures of you and your family while you're in the backyard having a barbecue, you know, hanging out with your son or daughter, I find that kind of troubling. But nonetheless, Florida wants to be America's leading producer of drones. And that's crazy. They want to be, again, the leading producer of drones. There's experts out there are saying by 2020, and let me repeat this, experts that know about drones and, you know, things of that nature, as far as it's basically knowing about drones and things. They say by 2020, this particular industry will have 25 to 30,000 drones in the air. That's crazy. That's kind of scary too. But let me repeat that one more time though. Let me repeat that one more time for you. Experts say by 2020, there's going to be between 25 to 30,000 drones in the U.S. skies, patrolling, surveilling, taking pictures, gathering intel, and delivering back to the people who control the drones and giving information to law enforcement about local terrorists and, you know, finding fugitives and basically protecting everything we hold dear and what we cherish. This is what they're saying. And going back to what I was saying earlier, these 5 different locations are going to be the test sites for how they, you know, how they're going to test them. They're going to test the drones. And it's going to happen in 2013, which is next year. So that's something everybody out there should think about. In 2013, my research didn't give me a specific time, date, or month. I just got as far as knowing that by 2013, sometime next year, in these 5 locations that I named earlier, which I'll name again for the people who are just now tuning in: Fort Bragg, Fort Campbell, Fort Stewart, Fort Hood, and Fort Riley. These are the 5 places that are going to be testing drones in 2013, which is next year. So sometime next year, for the people that live in these places, keep your eyes open to the skies, man. They're gonna be drones surveilling you, looking at you. So just be ready for that. But like I was saying before, I personally don't like it. It's kind of scary because it's basically saying, yo, Big Brother is here. And I'm not talking about the Big Brother program that you might have in your local area at the YMCA or something to mentor kids out there. It's not that type of Big Brother. Big Brother is the government surveillance cameras, getting rid of, you know, privacy acts on the internet, just all intrusive, getting all your information, figuring out who you are, the things that you like, and so forth. So that's what Big Brother is just basically figuring out who you are, putting in a database so that they know, all right, can we trust this person, or is this person a terrorist, or just basically diving in on your life And yeah, just basically that's it. Just trying to figure out who you are, just all intrusive. So I really don't like this whole drone thing. But as I was saying, they are trying to get it out here. They will be out here 2013 testing it in those 5 different military bases that I've just named on. Let me see what else. I'm just going back to my notes, just doing a quick recap. So yeah, another part of their reasoning for bringing drones over to America is basically to save lives and help pinpoint people who are in danger. So basically, they're trying to protect us. That's why they have drones. They want to protect us. But like I said, I think it's wrong. That's just Big Brother trying to extend his reach even further than what it already is. Hold on one second. I do apologize. Just going over my notes. To take it a step further, as far as just talking about Big Brother and surveillance, about 2 weeks ago, 2 weeks ago today, actually, 2 weeks ago Friday, I should say. I apologize. July 6, 2012, Obama signed into law allowing the White House to take over all communications. Wow. Let me repeat that again. On July 16th, July 6th, I apologize, July 6th, 2012, Obama signed into law a provision that gives the White House full control over all the country's communications for homeland security. Now, again, that's just Big Brother trying to extend his reach, get into your homes. That just ties into the whole drone thing, you know. You got these people controlling these instruments, gathering, like I said, intel, getting information, you know, snapping pictures of you while you just hanging out at your house, following you around. That's kind of scary. That's kind of scary. But this is what it is. Again, everybody out there, do your research, go online, look this information up. I definitely don't want you to take everything I say is face value. Do your research, you know. I do mine. That's how I get this information. So if you want to check what I say, go online and do the research. But like I said, that's just a scary thought. But to back all this up and to kind of show that, you know, even though I may not like it, the viewers out there, you may not like it, you may not like hearing it, but this is just to show the protection that's out there for these programs and these things to happen. Of course, a lot of you might know or remember 9/11 and how horrific that whole day and event was. And if you guys remember, one of the major things that happened that came out of 9/11, if you guys remember, was the Patriot Act. And basically, the Patriot Act was these laws that Bush and his cronies set up while he was in office to further extend the government's ability to stop terrorism, if you will. But at the same time, it took a lot of freedoms that we hold dear. You know, freedom of speech, the Fourth Amendment, the Fifth Amendment, and what the Patriot Act did was, Patriot Act 1, what it did was it took away some of our rights as citizens and gave more power to the government to stop terrorism, domestic terrorists. It just took a lot of freedoms that we have. It just stripped it away. Constitution, you know, it took a lot of that stuff away. And what I found out was, after doing some research about, you know, the Patriot Act and how, you know, just the different laws that it had, I found out that In 2003, there came out the Patriot Act 2. And it's funny because a lot of things that the Patriot Act 2 talk about as far as laws and what is considered a terrorist and what the government can and cannot do, it just made it even more broader. It gave the government more power and gave you less power as a citizen. But there are two in the Patriot Act 2 that really stand out and kind of tie into what I've been talking about as far as like the drones and surveillance and what have you. And basically, there's two of them. It's in the Patriot Act 2, Section 312, and basically it goes like this. Section 312 of the Patriot Act says it gives law enforcement immunity when spying on American citizens. Wow, that's crazy. Let me repeat that again. And like I said, this ties into even though this came out in 2003 and it's 2012 now, it gives protection to law enforcement, because one of the things that I forgot to mention earlier was that law enforcement, along with the military, mainly law enforcement, were one of the big organizations asking the military and the government for domestic drones to be used in America so that they can surveil, so they can, do surveillance on American citizens to, quote unquote, find, drug dealers and terrorists and what have you. So they were one of the main, like I said, organizations out there championing, to get domestic drones out here, along with the military and private security firms and Homeland Security. But they were one of the biggest voices, like, yo, we really need this technology, we really need these drones. So back to the Patriot Act 2, in Section 312, it says it gives law enforcement immunity when spying on American citizens. That's crazy. And this is all in the Patriot Act 2. If you don't believe me, go online, look it up, see for yourself. Another part of it, which kind of ties into the drone use, is from the Patriot Act 1, from the first Patriot Act that came out, Section 802. And I find this very, very disturbing, very, very disturbing. It states in Section 802 of the Patriot Act 1, it says, this gives any crime, and I repeat, this law says any crime that is considered any crime that's considered a crime or any type of violation, you are considered a full-blown terrorist. Or, yeah, that's it. You're considered a terrorist. And it could be any crime. It could be from jaywalking, littering, your very, very minor, violations, to even of course the major violations that should actually make you be considered a terrorist. That's just full out terrorism. You blowing up buildings, holding Americans hostage, and doing things like that. You should be considered a terrorist. But to consider someone who jaywalks, yeah, that's a crime. You shouldn't do it. But I mean, people do it all the time. People do it every day. And if you get caught for it and you get a ticket, you're automatically put into this database, which automatically categorizes you as a terrorist. That's crazy. And this is all in the Patriot Act 1, Section 802 of the Patriot Act. It says that any crime is considered, any type of crime is considered a terrorist. That's crazy. It does sound far-fetched. It's hard to believe, but if you go online and look it up, you'll see for yourself. So that just further ties to law enforcement wanting drones over here in America so that they can, quote unquote, watch and see who's doing what. That's crazy to me. Another part of the Patriot Act 2 that stood out to me. And you can, like I said, you can go online, look it up, read it, see for yourself. But another part of it, right after that, it's Section 313 of the Patriot Act 2. And it says, this section or this law provides liability protection. Let me start that over. This law provides liability protection for businesses, especially big businesses that spy on their customers for homeland security, violating their privacy agreements. Wow. That's deep. I won't say deep, but that's just like real telling, like, woo, kind of scary right there, real scary. So basically what they're saying is that these big time businesses, any type of business that is spying on the citizens, they are protected. Because anytime you for instance, cell phones, when you join the cell phone company and you go through the contract and all that, there's a privacy statement which says we as a company, talking about the phone carrier, will not give out your personal information to third-party companies. And basically what it's saying is we won't give your name out to people who want to give you specific advertisement. That's how they cover all this stuff up. It's all this tracking and creating these profiles about people and what have you. It's all for advertisement. They want these advertisements to make these advertisements, these commercials more personal. They want to design them more toward what you like, the things that you purchase, whether it be online, in the grocery store. And an example of that is anytime anybody goes to the grocery store and buys groceries and get your receipt, if you look on the back, anything that you bought, they'll have a coupon for it. Now, it won't be every item that you might have purchased, but for the items that the major items like milk, eggs, anything that you may buy, on the back of your receipt, you'll have a little coupon for it. And how do they track the things that you buy? Well, anytime you go to the grocery store, they have those little cards. I personally don't have one. I don't keep them. But they'll have those little cards, like Stop and Shop, Shaw's, Kroger's out there, Safeway. Any grocery store, they have these little credit cards with a number on it. And every time you use it, or if you own it, you get like discounts on the food that you buy, desserts, bread, sodas. That card gives you these discounts. And every time they swipe your card, when they ring you up, it keeps track of all the purchases you have, so that when next time you do purchase something and you get your receipt, they'll have coupons for the things that you buy. So that's just another form of tracking. And how does that all tie in? Advertisement, as they say. They want to keep all this information about you so that they can design these advertisements for things that you like, whether it be you want to go on vacation, so they want to make sure they advertise you to the right hotel, discount on rental cars, basically almost anything that you can buy, they want an advertisement for, so that they want to specifically advertise towards you, the consumer. So with this law, Section 313 of the Patriot Act 2 states, this law provides liability protection for businesses, big businesses especially, that spy on their consumers for homeland security, at the same time violating their privacy agreements. So that's all of that tied into it. That's all of that. Everything I just said is tied into that. You know, they keep a profile of you so that these third parties can better advertise towards you. They just basically want you to buy stuff, buy things you don't need, make you want to buy things that you already have, you know. So that's what they're saying. That's what all this is. They're saying, hey, from now on, if a third party says, hey, yo, let me get your customers' information, they can do it. They can do it now anyway, and that's kind of scary. But companies like this may include, like I said, the cell phone companies, different websites. You gotta create a profile that have privacy acts, you know, social networking sites. A lot of information on there. A lot of people want. So yeah, it's crazy out here how things are slowly becoming, you know, everything is getting surveyed. You know, they got chips and bugs and everything you own. You know, it's scary. RFID chips in your passport. They want to give you a real ID. And basically, a real ID is another form of a RFID chip. It's a card rather than a little chip. For a while, I was hearing rumors that they were implementing the RFID, the Real ID card, out in Colorado. I haven't heard anything too much recently about Colorado and the Real ID and how they're using it out there. Like I said, it was just a rumor that was going around. Something to look into, something to, you know, think about. But yeah, all that's just another form of control, tracking, you know, keeping tabs on the citizens. But I found something very interesting while I was getting ready for the show today. If you guys remember in last week's show, and I was talking about how I first came across this whole drone thing or drone issue. I was watching a YouTube video with Alex Jones, and I gave the listeners and viewers out there a quick, a very quick, not necessarily detailed history of who Alex Jones is. And basically, for all you viewers that are just tuning in, Alex Jones is this guy out of Texas who tries to expose not necessarily conspiracy theories, but like backdoor secret shit. excuse me, I do apologize. But yeah, like, you know, real secret things. And I won't necessarily say his claim to fame is he infiltrated this place called Bohemian Grove, and he exposed part of what they do out there. And before I seen the video of Bohemian Grove, and what he exposed, and I'll get into that very shortly. But basically, the way I look at Bohemian Grove is it's the American equivalent to the Bilderberger Group. Now, I can get into the Bilderberger Group on the next episode, but just a quick, brief history of the Bilderberger Group is one, noted politicians, you know, world leaders, people, high-ranking officials, military, media moguls, people that run different sections of education, whether it be math, science, music moguls, just very high-ranking people in different areas. They met over at a hotel called the Bilderberger Hotel, and that's basically how they got their name. They met over in Switzerland, back in the 40s. And like I said, these high-ranking politicians come together, and it's very secretive. They don't tell you who's attending. They don't tell you what they talk about. But from a couple sources, not necessarily my sources, but like I said, just doing my research and just seeing, as they say, from their sources, you know, the Bilderberger Group plans, you know, world policy, foreign law, foreign policies, who's going to be the next president, what their agenda is in pushing this new world order, ties to the hold on, excuse me while I regain my thoughts real quick. The Council of Foreign Relations. So yeah, the CFR. They have ties with that group. So that's the Bilderberger Group. They meet over in Switzerland every so often. We'll say once every 5 years or so. Sooner if they really need to fix their agenda, if you will. But they meet up and they discuss policy in an open forum. So that's the Bilderberger Group. And so how does that tie into it, the Bohemian Grove? Well, the Bohemian Grove, like I said, in my opinion, is the American equivalent of the Bilderberger Group, where you have, again, high-ranking politicians, military personnel, media moguls, people in different industries, science, math, same thing as the Bilderberger Group, except they're meeting here in America, in California. And so to before I digress and lose you guys out there, and then also lose my train of thought, the Bohemian Grove is the same thing. You know, these men come together and they say it's a retreat for the wealthy 1% of America. And it's like, huh? The wealth, it's a wealthy retreat for the 1% of the Americans that have all the wealth. And this is what they say. This is how they describe their experience. It's just a getaway. People come together, have fun, blah blah blah. That's BS. It's BS. That's how I feel about it. It's just BS. So, to not let me digress, so Alex Jones infiltrated the secret place where these high-ranking people come and gather. And what he exposed is that, again, and I to stress this so that it can sink in and you can really realize, like, yo, what's really going on over there. But these high-ranking people that we voted in the office, elected officials, they're meeting at this place called Bohemian Grove, little secret location, having secret meetings. And what they're doing is, and what Alex Jones exposed is, one, they're dressing up in these druid-type tunics, big robes with the big hood, and they are having sacrifices to a 40-foot statue of an owl. And that's crazy. A big statue of an owl, nonetheless. Which, again, if you guys understand symbolism and know what it means, and definitely that's another episode. I actually did an episode on symbolism a while ago. But I'm gonna do another show just to bring it back, just to give you guys a refresher course, give you more symbols that are out there, just give you a better understanding of that. But yeah, they make sacrifices to a 40-foot owl, statue of an owl. And like I was saying, if you know symbolism, the owl is a symbol, or basically is a symbol of the Canaanite god, or it's a god of the Canaanites. The Canaanites is a biblical tribe from the Bible. If you guys, read the Bible and know of that, the Canaanites is the nation that God told his followers to destroy. Told the Israelites, yo, destroy them, get them off the face of the earth. Again, that's for another show. I won't go too deep into that, but that's where this owl is from. It's one of their deities. Is the owl. And if you look at like Freemasonry symbols, Illuminati symbols, you'll see an owl. An owl's on the back of $1. I know you guys then seen the YouTube videos or seen the National Discovery Channel documentary or History Channel documentary about all the symbolism on the back of $1. And yeah, so and it's an owl on the back of $1. If you look closely, if you look at the name Toyota, there's an owl in the name Toyota. It's crazy. It's all symbolism. Like I said, that's for another show. I'm just showing you how all this ties in and ties together. So you got these dudes, high-ranking politicians, elected officials, military people, media people, people of science, professors in their different respective fields come together, put on some robes, and make sacrifices to a 40-foot owl. That's quite disturbing. And just to back this up, biblically, for all the people out there who have Bibles, unfortunately I didn't bring mine today, which is a slap on the wrist for me, which I need to come with it. But just to back this up with some biblical text, if you look at Leviticus, hold on one second, I'm actually looking at my wrong notes here. Hold on one second. Oh, here we go. I got it. If you look, if you have a Bible, pen and paper, please write this down. This is just biblical reference, just backing up what I'm saying about Moloch, the symbolism of an owl, and the whole Canaanite thing. If you look at Leviticus 18, verse 21, it'll talk about basically what I just talked about, how you got these people, and it's not referencing it today, but just referencing it how it's and just the symbolism behind it. Leviticus 18:21 talks about making sacrifices to Moloch. But yeah, again, that whole owl symbolism is all over Freemasonry, all over the Illuminati. So anytime you see that, that's just a part of their way of saying, yo, we're everywhere. We see everything. And you're probably asking yourself, well, why an owl? Why not something fierce like a lion or a tiger? To show your power and your strength. Why an owl? You're probably asking yourself. Well, this is the reason why they chose an owl for that particular symbolism, and because naturally owls can see in the dark. They can see at night. Owl's head can do a full 360 spin. They can see all over the place. Sharp talons, very smart animal. So Freemasons and these secret societies, the Illuminati, they operate in the dark. They're evil people. They hide under the darkness of night. They're thieves. And and to be a good thief, you want to see in the night. If you're going to do evil stuff, if you're going to work in the night, it would help to be able to see at night. So they use an owl as part of that symbolism, because owls, one, can see in night, smart creatures, their heads on a swivel, they can see all around them, and that's what these secret societies feel. That's what they want to mimic. That's what they want people to see about them. They want to say, hey, look, we can operate in the night, we're going to do some shady stuff, and we can see what we're doing, but you can't. And that just ties into all symbolism. They have an understanding about it. The people that work with these organizations understand it, but the masses don't. We're part of the masses. And I'm here just to school you, just to open your eyes a little bit wider, you know what I'm saying, just to see a little bit further and to understand what these symbols are and how they're deceptive and how they're trying to take over. But again, all this ties in. So again, that's who Alex Jones is. That's how, sort of, if you will, he got his claim. He busted, or he infiltrated this Bohemian Grove with these politicians. He has on video. Now, whether or not they're actually sacrificing a real person in front of this 40-foot owl, is I can't tell. I've seen the video. Very interesting. Something you guys should watch. Go to YouTube, type in Bohemian Grove, Alex Jones. You should be able to see the video. The actual Alex Jones video is like an hour and a half. But there are different videos that cut straight to the meat. David Icke, another, person trying to expose the 1% and the elitists out there who are of controlling the world. He has a video on it as well, but it's based off the Alex Jones video. He's just breaking it down from his perspective. But definitely go out there, check out those videos. Definitely see what it is, learn some more. But that's how all that ties in. So currently, to fast forward and just to give you a current update on Bohemian Grove, if you guys know about the Occupy Wall Street, Occupy Big Business, basically Occupy something is across America. Everybody need to occupy something, get involved in something. And so the organizers of Occupy Wall Street, they have the same information I have. Not necessarily the way I have obtained it, or not even the same knowledge I have. They have basically the same knowledge of what Bohemian Grove is, what it's for. And so basically what they're doing is they're organizing, getting their troops, getting their fellow occupiers out to California. Oh, and I forgot to mention, Bohemian Grove is in Northern California, outside of Napa, Mount Rio, California. It's on the outskirts of there. And so what's going on is the organizers of Bohemian Grove got caught wind of the protesters, and so they had to move the location. So the location has been moved from its actual spot and moved somewhere else within the grove. And so they actually made a designated spot for the protesters to go to. I mean, the people that run this got a lot of influence. So they, one, it's a media blackout, which means no media is allowed in. Also, they set up a perimeter so that the protesters can only go to a certain location, so that they won't interfere with what the people at Bohemian Grove need to talk about, which is like very scary. One, there's no media. Like I said, the same thing with the Bilderberger group. When they have their meetings, it's a media blackout. No one's allowed in. No information is allowed out. Unfortunately, you got insiders, people who need to know what's going on. They got that, so they set up a little area 70 miles away from where the meeting at Bohemian Grove is supposed to take place, so that these protesters can go over there and protest, so they won't be in the way, which is crazy in itself anyway. But just to name some names, some notable names that people might know, recent attendees, we'll say within the past 20 years. To name a few. Let me tell you what the protesters are protesting. They're protesting, one, to expose what goes on in Bohemian Grove, and two, to expose what they talk about, of how the 1% control all the global resources, control education, and the the main things that, one, people watch the news, watch TV, get their information, whether it be locally, nationally, or internationally. Education, where one taught people how to read, gave you their version of history, and I do emphasize their version, as well as holding global resources for their own evil, twisted purposes. Whether it be they need more money, they want to put certain people in power to further their agenda. It's crazy. It's crazy. This is what they do. This is how they're doing it. And this is what the Occupy, actually the people that did Occupy Wall Street have changed the name to Occupy Bohemian Grove. They want to expose this. They want the people to know. I read one of the statements from one of the organizers, and they said, we're protesting the Bohemian Grove to expose the 1%, and whether how long it takes, we will succeed. I definitely commend them on their diligence in wanting to expose this, and I hope they accomplish their goal. But realistically, not to take anything away from them, but they're not going to expose it. They're not. It's just unfortunate. I want them to succeed in what they're doing, to let the masses know, like, look, there's these 1% that's trying to push this new one world order agenda, get you dog tagged, have you have this RFID chip, which for people out there who follow biblical conspiracies and things of that nature, that RFID chip, without it, you can't buy, sell, eat, fly, or do anything without this chip. Basically, that's just the mark of the beast. In Revelation, it says, if you don't have the mark written on your right hand or stamped on your forehead, you won't be able to do none of that. None of the things I just described. So, for a lot of people, myself included, in certain areas, that's what this is. That's the mark of the beast. I'm not for that. I'm not with that. I'm against it all day. And all that goes back, ties in everything I've been talking about Big Brother trying to figure out who you are, surveillance, the drones, and Obama signing the communications bill to give White House and Homeland Security full control over communication, cell phone, text, email, postal mail, federal, all that. Any type of communication, anything that can be communicated, the White House and Homeland Security have full control over that. That's just the way I look at it. Big Brother extending his reach, trying to figure out who you are, at the same time pushing their one world order agenda, the new age agenda, making joining secret societies and doing evilness, making it seem like it's cool, and it's not. Making you go against the Most High, making you want to go out there and be like, you know what, that's cool. It's cool to, worship the devil and hold up the Satan horns like that. All that stuff is cool, but it's not. None of that stuff is cool. It's all evil, So, and all that's tied in. It's just you gotta decipher that. And like I said, deciphering symbols, that's definitely coming in for another show. So you guys definitely need to tune into that. But back to what I was saying, I don't want to digress. But to name some of the names of politicians that you guys might know, you studied in history class or in social studies. But just to name a few, and these are attendees, politicians that went to Bohemian Grove. You got Dick Cheney, that was George Bush Jr. That was his VP. He was one of the he took the office of vice president and took it to the max. He was doing things that no other vice president has ever done. And in certain circles, some people were saying he was the one that was actually the president. He was the one that was actually running the world, running America, and not Bush. He was just a figurehead. He was just out there. But Dick Cheney, Newt Gingrich. If you go to YouTube and type in Alex Jones Bohemian Grove, he actually interviews Newt Gingrich and calls him on the carpet about his participation in Bohemian Grove. Because there's a video circulating on the internet. It's an old video, but it's still circulating the internet, where there's actually two, where one, Newt Gingrich denies being a part of it. And then there's another one where he says he loves it. And actually, that's the interview that Alex Jones has with Newt Gingrich. He said, there's a video going around, or interview you did, where you totally deny it, but now you're standing in front of me saying you're with it. Crazy video. Definitely check it out. But Newt Gingrich was part of it. Harry Kissinger, he's been with many different presidents as an advisor, as well as both Bushes, senior and junior, were part of it. And Reagan and Nixon, they were part of the Bohemian Grove as well. They were actually seen together, and there's a picture. They were seen together before the presidential election of that particular year, and the year Reagan won it, actually. So it is a real thing. Politicians do go there. Whether or not you believe they discuss policy, laws, pick the next president, that's for your own judgment. But for me, that's exactly what they do. Along with sacrificing real or fake people to a 40-foot owl. I just think that in itself is just crazy and needs explanation. And they'll probably give you some BS explanation of why. But the fact that they are pretending to sacrifice fake people to a statue of the Canaanite god, which, the Canaanites worship the devil and we're Satanists. If you think that's cool, then that's on you. But for me, that's complete evil. I'm not with it. We definitely need to expose them and figure out what they doing and how they getting it. But with that being said, my time is running out. I just want to thank all the listeners out there for
you're good, man. You're good.
Tuning in to the Casey Show.
You're good. If you want to stay longer, you're good.
Well, actually, we gonna keep this going. I just got word that the time is good, so we gonna keep this moving a little more. We gonna keep it moving. Actually, I'm gonna go off the top of the head right now and kind of into the whole New World Order, that whole movement that's going on. If a lot of people don't know, the New World Order is this idea that there should be one government, one law, if you will, one person ruling the many, and that's not cool. That's basically a dictatorship. I don't want to live under no dictator. I hope people out there don't want to live under no dictator. Stalin, Hitler, all these people, Lenin, all these people, these crazy, powerful people, and the stuff and the atrocities they did. And that's what these elitist people want. They want that. They want one person ruling the many. A good example of not necessarily one person ruling the many, but where they want to take it to. And they want to take it back to the medieval ages, the dark ages. And basically, all you had were the kings, queens, noblemen, people who had money, and then you had poor people. Simple as that. People with money, people without money. And that's what they wanted, and that's what these elitist people, the people, the 1% that control the globe, that's what they want to take it back to. One, they want to depopulate the earth. Excuse me, I got something in my eye. Hold on 1 second. All right, I apologize. So they want to depopulate the earth. They want to get rid of as many people as possible, because if you think about it, it's hard to control a lot. For instance, let's say you have a building that can hold 200 people comfortably. So let's say 300 people show up. One, it's overcrowded. People can't groove right. There's people standing on top of people. Fights might break out because someone stepped on someone's shoe. He thought it was on purpose. He said it was an accident. A fight breaks out. It's hard to control a lot of people when you're only built to control so much. Not saying that they're built to control people, but I'm just saying, just in general. So what do you got to do? You got to get rid of that extra 100 people that came to the show, that are in the building. Like, yo, there's too much room. There's not enough room for you people. You got to go. And that's what they want to do. And that's globally. They want to get rid of people. They want people to unfortunately die so that they can control the few. Basically like they did in the Dark Ages, back in, when kings and knights and castles was going around. They want to take it back to that time as far as how many people was on the face of the earth. So yeah, we can't have that. And the way they're trying to depopulate the earth, wars, famine, disease, they're using those tactics, I can't explain enough. I can't get into it more than that. But you can trace the New World Order back to Christ times, when the Tower of Babel was getting built, and how everybody was on that whole one world. That's basically where the whole New World Order, one world government came from. When they were building the Tower of Babel, the citizens of Babel wanted to be next to God. They wanted to be able to talk to him, reach to him. So what they just built this big tower. And God seen that. The Most High seen that. And he was like, yo, we can't have that. And then that's when he mixed up the different languages. He said, you gonna speak this, you gonna speak that, to confuse everybody. That's what the word Baal means, confusion. But they want to take it back to that, all these pagan rituals that they're doing. On the side note, not to jump back and forth, but when Alex Jones was exposing what was going on in Bohemian Grove, the ceremony that he witnessed of these people, whether sacrificing this fake person or real person, I don't know if it's more than likely it's fake, but who knows? But making this sacrifice, it was called the ceremony was called the cremation of care. And basically what the cremation of care is, what pagans used to do is to get rid of their burdens for that year, to get rid of their stress. They would sacrifice a newborn child to this effigy of an owl. That's what they would do. And that's what he was exposing when he did the cremation. That's what he was exposing when he showed that video of them sacrificing to that owl effigy. In doing my research, from finding out different people who know of people who have attended the Bohemian Grove, they have 3 different sacrifices in the time that they're at the Grove. The first one was the one Alex Jones exposed, was the cremation care. The next one is the sacrifice of Mary Magdalene, and then the third one, which I just find just crazy in itself, is the sacrifice of Jesus Christ. Now the two other rituals that I just named are through sources from third parties. So whether or not these are real or not, that's on you to decide. But just the fact that someone could think of this is crazy in itself. That being said, I am going to wrap this show up. I hope you guys learned something, or I hope I raised questions that you should try to answer or ask other people that you know. But thank you again for tuning in. I want to shout out everybody at Dbass Productions for making this all possible. Shout out to D, everybody tuning in, people out in C-Town, out in Boston, wherever you at. Thanks for tuning in. I'm your host, KC. I do this every Monday from 7 to 8. So tell your nephews, tell your brothers, tell your moms, your fathers, your uncles, your nieces, nephews, tell everybody. Tune into the show. We're going to get into more, a little more conspiracy theories, some more symbolism. Just letting you know what not new symbols, but what symbols are out there, what they mean, how to interpret it. So yeah, definitely tune in. Thanks for tuning in today. And I'm your host, Case. It's your boy, and I'm out.